Ayton here again, and yeah, I'm outside, and the sun is shining, and you can see where I am. Usual place, bit of headspace, bit of earthing, all that kind of stuff. One of the I've been on calls all day today. It's now about 3 o'clock, and my first call's at 8, and they've all been with founders, and they're all trying to raise capital, and you know, they're in the deep technology space. And I've been thinking about obviously the economic climate is challenging. There's lots of geopolitical uncertainty. Capital markets doing what capital markets do, and we've got inflation. There's worries of deflation still, and the regulators of the Western world, by and large, are trying to destroy crypto. And because let's remember, it's a threat to their centralized empires, especially banking, capital markets, which are controlled by a handful of people, and it's a money machine, of course. So but the founders are all they're all complaining, in a sense, to say, it's really hard, can you help us? And the answer is yes, it is hard. And I just want to sort of draw out some of the misnomers and misapprehensions about capital raising, because most founders are they get their deck together, they think they've got a great product or vision and idea, and I always say, unless you've got something to show, something that you can touch, feel, experience, a product, a service, a platform, then in the current climate it's hard. You're in the realms of, if you haven't got any of that, you're in the realms of trying to sell an idea. And if you don't have a track record of turning your ideas into money, then it's very difficult for investors to take a view. And invariably, you're pushed into the seed world, the pre-seed, the ideation, the incubator. And there's nothing wrong with that, because in a sense they're geared up to see if your idea has legs. And then you're pushed into the world of angels, who have a much higher risk appetite. But all of these founders I spoke to today, and there was 5, or was it 6? I think 6. And they all had product. 1 or 2 of them had a bit of revenue. They were all convinced that their product market fit was there. Okay, for some of them it was. But the issue is less about their product and service, less about them as a team. The conclusion I came to is that their approach was, it was just their approach sort of left something to be desired, really. And what made me respond, what made me agree to have a call. And those of you who know me, I'm quite a big social media LinkedIn hound, and the messages I respond to, and let's face it, we all get too many messages, don't we, from automated bots. Sometimes they don't even get your name right, they haven't done their research, they have no idea what you do. It's a one-size-fits-all blanket reach out, and they're working a volume game. And unfortunately, a lot of founders fall into that trap, and when they reach out to investors, people on LinkedIn, it's too often it's very generic, it's not personalized, and unless they put a big hook into the message, and they can nail in a couple of sentences what they're after and what they're about, then invariably I don't respond. And one of the things I do respond well to is when they try and make a personal connection, where they've actually made that little bit of effort to find out what Nick does, what I'm interested in, and then try and match their approach, in a sense, to my world. And I respond much better to that, because it proves to me that they've made an effort to build a relationship. So here's the thing. The big misnomer of capital raising is you blast your deck around, you send your deck, and that's it. You're going to find investors that way. And I want to make it very clear, actually, that sending decks round is very much a Western approach. I think probably coined in the US because of the land of Microsoft and PowerPoint, and obviously the Brits have taken over because they follow the US like sheep by and large, and then parts of Europe and parts of the world have sort of jumped on the bandwagon, but the rest of the world, the vast bulk of the world, doesn't really use pitch decks in the same way that others do. And the other issue is that unless you've got the timing right, the people just aren't going to open it and read it. And when I do have my calls with people, I would say 90% of the time I don't open the deck. I'm responding to the message. I look at their profile, I look at their LinkedIn, I look at, are there people that they know that I know? And I'm looking for little hints on whether they should be worthwhile to talk to. Are they sensible people? And even when I get them on the phone, I generally don't, at that point, I haven't gone through the deck. I might have a sense of what they're trying to do, but I haven't gone through the deck, certainly not in detail. And I'm not alone. The majority of people don't read decks. We do a lot in the Middle East, and decks are just something you just don't get involved with. And other countries feel the same. So I just want to, point out that if you're a founder and you're struggling to raise capital, and you're not doing your research, and you're working on a volume game, and you're blasting your decks out, and by the way, keep your messages short. I mean, I get War and Peace on LinkedIn, and I respond to people and basically say, are you expecting me to read all of this? What is it you want? And I might come across a bit grumpy and a bit bad-tempered on that, but time is valuable, right? And so get to the point and make some effort, try and find out something about the person you're approaching, and don't blast decks, do not blast white papers, do not blast long PDFs of War and Peace on how marvellous your product and service is, because it's a first contact, or it may be a second contact. Think about it. This is where founders are going wrong, and you're wasting everybody's time. Talk soon.